Good morning, my dear student children. We are meeting once again freshly today in this class. We are learning the bioinorganic chemistry. There you learnt already how the various elements, the essential elements are categorized. You learned some are essential, some are bulk essential elements, some are trace elements, and others are ultra trace elements. And you have also learned the metalloperforins, and you have also learned the hemoglobin. Now today, in continuation with that, we shall see the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green pigment that is present in plant, and it is an essential component for the plants to prepare their food. You know, plants, they prepare their food by taking the carbon dioxide and water, by absorbing the sunlight, solar energy that occurs in the presence of this chlorophyll, and it makes glucose. In other words, it's food, and liberates importantly the oxygen, right? So this is how the plants, it is called photosynthesis. The plants prepare their food, right? Carbon dioxide, water, and you get glucose, and it liberates oxygen. So this reaction is happening in the presence of this solar energy, the sunlight, and here chlorophyll is acting as a catalyst more precisely. Now this chlorophyll structure I have drawn here, similar to that the hemoglobin we have studied. There are 4 pyrrole rings are there, and these pyrrole rings are joined by this linkage. I said it is single bond CH double bond, right? Single bond CH double bond linkage, right? Here the 2 nitrogen atoms. So they have given out their hydrogens, and here they form what? The covalent bond. And a pair of electron is there on this nitrogen and this nitrogen. They share this with the magnesium and form this coordinate bond. So in other words, it is a metal chelate it is, right? So in chlorophyll, the ion that is present is Mg plus 2, right? Mg plus 2. So because of this Mg plus 2 ion, the plants, the leaves, they appear green in color. That is important. As you learned, the blood is red because of the presence of Fe plus 2 ion. So similarly, the plants are green, their leaves are green because of this Mg plus 2 ion. And there is a strong absorption of this sunlight, the solar energy, because you are seeing there is an alternate double bonds here, right? Single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond. So because of this, there will be a strong absorption, right? So this is the structure, and this is the various substituents that are there in the chlorophyll, right? This R I have written, if R is equal to methyl group, it will be called as chlorophyll A. If R is equal to an aldehyde group, it will be called a chlorophyll B. And another important point in this chlorophyll is, here the plants, they are absorbing the sunlight. From this sunlight, they absorb 2 lights, 2 radiations in other words. One is blue radiation, the other one is red radiation. So from the sunlight, the plants absorbs 2 radiations. One is blue radiation, the other one is red radiation. One is at low wavelength, the other one is at higher wavelength. And when these radiations are absorbed by this chlorophyll, the chlorophyll appears to us green in color. Followed what I am telling? The complementary color for blue and red is green. So the plants are appearing green because the chlorophyll absorbs which radiations from the sunlight? The blue and red radiations. So this is how you can explain the chlorophyll structure and its functioning if it is asked in the examination. Now, having studied these two structures, one is the chlorophyll, the other one that you have studied already is hemoglobin. Now we shall see the biological functions of some elements or some metal ions. So the first biological function of the metal ion or the metal is sodium. How the sodium metal is playing a role in our body system, in other words in the biological system, right? So the role of sodium in the biological system. Now this sodium we take mainly into our body in the form of sodium chloride, that is table salt. Is it okay? And also we take this sodium into our body by eating green vegetables. Is it okay? And also by taking the non-vegetarian food, that is meat and so on, right? So this sodium is functioning in our body in the form of Na plus ion. Say I have drawn here this simple cell like this. When we treat this as a cell, outside this cell there will be a blood plasma. Blood plasma, what blood plasma is? It is an yellowish liquid, right? It is an yellowish liquid which holds up the cells, which holds up the cells of the body, right? In this blood plasma, the sodium is present as Na plus ions, right? And remember, not only in this plasma, in the interstitial fluids, the fluids that are present inside our body, inside the or outside the cells of the body, they are also having the Na plus ions. So sodium ions are present in blood plasma as well as what? Interstitial fluids. Then what are the functions of this sodium plus ion, right? The first function is they transmits the nerve signals. Suppose if I do my hand like this, my fingers like this, it is because of the Na plus ions. So they are transmitting the nerve signals. And another thing is, these sodium ions, they transport carbohydrates and amino acids to the cell. Is it okay? They transport carbohydrates and amino acids to the cell. So these are the functionings of the sodium or Na plus ions outside the cell. And also remember, it regulates the water flow outside the cell. Is it okay? Then what are the defects of this Na plus ion? What happens if sodium is deficient in our body? So when sodium is deficient in our body, naturally the muscle cramps will be there, fatigueness will be there, weakness will be there, and if sodium is very less, it leads to the low BP. Is it okay? So that low BP is very dangerous. It leads to the cardiac problems, cardiac arrest, etc. And if the sodium is more in our body, If its concentration is more in our body, it leads to hypertension, we say. High BP it is. Is it right? That is also dangerous. It leads to the, once again, the cardiac arrest. So this is the role of sodium in biological system. The next one is role of potassium in the biological system. The role of potassium in biological system. Now here, potassium is present as K plus ions inside the cell. Sodium ions are present outside the cell. Potassium ions are present inside the cell. Then they are functioning. Their function is this. So when sodium is transporting the carbohydrates and amino acids to this cell, then these potassium ions, they play a vital role and converts that carbohydrates or the sugars into ATP. So sugars they convert into ATP, adenosine triphosphate, adenosine triphosphate. So the important functioning it is. So when the sugars are come inside the nucleus, inside the cell, then they have been converted into the ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So this is the functioning main and also the other functioning is it also transmits the nerve signals as the Na plus ion is doing the same activity. So remember, potassium ions are also transmitting the nerve signals. Then what are the effects of this potassium? What happens if this potassium becomes less in our body, right? The defects are number one, it reduces heartbeat. Is it okay? When it reduces the heartbeat, we get the cramps, we get the weak, we get the heart muscles will become very weak and so on. So the main malfunction that is happening in our body is it reduces the heartbeat and also it paralyzes the muscles. It paralyzes the muscles. Therefore, the potassium is very important in our body. Then what we have to take this potassium into our body? So it is advised to eat banana daily. So banana contains these potassium ions or potassium. And another food that we have to take is potassium is present in Vinay products, not wine, Vinay, right? So Vinay products, for example, grapes and the blackberry, etc., they contain this potassium rich. So therefore, these are the biological activities of the potassium metal. In other words, the role of potassium in biological system. Then the next one is role of Cl, chlorine. Role of chlorine. Now, as I already said, we take the table salt, right? The main source for this Cl minus, that Cl that we take into our body is the table salt. And also tomatoes, sweet tomatoes, they contain little percentage of this chlorine, right? So the functioning of this Cl is it creates or it generates hydrochloric acid, HCl, right, in gastric juice. So it creates what? The HCl in gastric juice, right? And this is required, the Cl is required to maintain the electrolytic balance. In other words, the acid-base balance. Is it okay? And another important functioning of this Cl minus is it maintains the osmotic pressure of this cell. That is very important. So it maintains the osmotic pressure of this cell. Now what happens if this chlorine becomes less in our body? It leads to the fluid loss, it leads to the weakness, it leads to the vomiting sensation, and finally it leads to the difficult in breathing. Is it okay? So there will be a fluid loss, there will be a weakness, there will be a vomiting sensation, and there will be a problem in breathing also. So this is the role of Cl in the biological system. Then the role of iron in the biological system. We have already studied the iron is present in hemoglobin. For red blood corpuscles, the iron is a must. Is it okay? So therefore, it is said about 5 grams of iron must be there in our body, right? And daily 10 milligrams of iron has to be taken into our body. Remember, not directly, in the form of what? Food. When we eat the green vegetables, when we eat the meat, when we eat eggs, nuts, etc., we take this iron, right, in the form of the compounds. And this iron, I said, it is essential for the formation of blood, that is hemoglobin. And remember, when we take this iron into our body in the form of food, Fe plus 3 ions are converted into Fe plus 2 ions. Fe plus 3 ions are converted into Fe plus 2 ions by the presence of vitamin C in our body. So vitamin C converts this Fe plus 3 ions into the ferric ions into ferrous ions, right? What is vitamin C? It is nothing but ascorbic acid. Is it right? So the ascorbic acid that is present in our body converts that Fe plus 3 ions into Fe plus 2 ions. So what happens then if iron becomes less in our body? It is very well known that it creates anemia, bloodlessness. If the blood becomes less, if red blood corpuscles becomes less, the WBCs will increase, and that will create a lot of problem, leads to the cancer disease, etc. Right? Then the next metal that is considered in our syllabus is zinc. The role of zinc in the biological system. Now zinc is present in every cell of our body. It is an essential component in all the enzymes. So zinc is required to increase our immune system. You know, today we are in a pandemic situation. Is it right? The medical doctors, the researchers are giving us various vaccines. In India, we say Covaxin, Covishield. What are these? They are the boosters. They increase our immune system. To increase the immune system, we require zinc there. So zinc is the essential component for all the cells in our body, which is required to boost our immune system, right? So then this zinc, how can we obtain this zinc? By taking oysters, meaning what? Mushrooms. Is it okay? And also by eating the baked beans, and also eating the cashew nuts, almonds, etc. Is it right? So in the form of food, we can also take the zinc. And zinc, I said, is a very essential element. It divides the cell and it helps in the growth of the cell. Followed what I said? It is required for the division of the cell. It is required once again for the growth of the cell, and which forms the tissues, and it forms the body, organs, systems, etc. So remember, zinc is an essential element. Then what happens if this zinc becomes less in our body? Hair loss will be there. There will be hair loss. There will be an appetite, loss of appetite, means whatever we eat cannot be digested properly, and there will be a loss of smell and taste, and also there will be a metabolic disorders. Is it right? So these are the various important points that are considered to be with zinc. Now the next part that is mentioned in our syllabus is the toxicity of arsenic, lead and mercury. The toxic effects of what? The arsenic, lead and mercury. You know, arsenic is present in the water that we drink daily, and it is present large in quantity in bore water. So if you are drinking the bore water, you must be aware of the arsenic consequences. And it is said the arsenic quantity must be less than 10 parts per billion in our water that we drink. It should be very less than this 10 ppb. If it becomes more than 10, if it becomes 100 ppb, it leads to the various damages in our body system. So this arsenic leads to retarded growth, right? It affects the growth, and there will be a deformation of legs, and it will affect the gangrene in the limbs, and finally it leads to the various other problems, right? So this is about the arsenic. And lead, usually lead is excreted in the metabolic activities, metabolic functions, but if its concentration increases more, it too has got a lot of toxic effects in our body. The toxic effects of this lead, right, are it affects the blood circulation. It affects the blood circulation and terminates the kidneys, livers, and finally it leads to the cardiac arrest also. The patient suffering from this lead poison will go into coma, right? And about the mercury. See, mercury, if it is present as Hg+2 in our body, it is not toxic, but in our body, when it enters into our body, when it becomes an organic compound, organometallion like this, RH+, where R may be an alkyne, aromatic group, etc. Then it becomes a poisonous. Immediately it attacks the proteins and destroys the functioning of the proteins. When the proteins are destroyed in our body system, it leads to the many defects, right? The defects that are of the mercury are, it affects the kidneys, it affects the nervous system, it damages the entire nervous system. When it leads to the damage of the nervous system, the entire system becomes paralysis and the patient may lose his life also. So poisonous is more about this mercury, right? And remember, all these three metals, arsenic, Pb and Hg, they are present as their sulfide ores. For example, the arsenic is present as arseno-iron sulfide. Then lead is present as galena, and mercury is present as cinnabar. HGS. That means the industries that are working with these metals, that is arsenic, the lead and mercury, they have to take maximum care when they leave their products, the waste products, into the river water, and finally it enters into the oceans. The fishes takes up these poisonous substances and when we eat these aquatic plants and this fish, it will enter into our body and damages the system. So before the industrial waste they are left into the rivers, so care must be taken. The concentration of this arsenic, lead and mercury must be very less. Is it right? So this is how you can explain if toxic effects of the arsenic, lead and mercury are asked. Right? So dear students, this is about your syllabus that is mentioned. So I have completed the syllabus that is mentioned for you people, and I wish good luck for your studies and your future, and I expect all of you to study sincerely whatever I taught, and if at all you require more knowledge about whatever I have taught, go through the textbooks that are available, get more knowledge, write the exams properly, come up with good results, and my blessings are there with you always. Thank you very much.